somebody came to my yard the other day and tell me, Grace, your name Stinker Road. And you know what I said? Well, it took a long time to get there. But you see, when you're trying to make a change, sometimes you are not popular. And if you think about popularity, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, if you are a person and you're involved in the music business, it is your business to know the business. And you know, we have a lot around here, a lot of songwriters and also artists who are doing stupidness.
I tolerate men.
We live in a risky world, you know?
Yeah. The Perspectives podcast is brought to you by TruVybz Island Prints. For the best quality t-shirts and prints, TruVybz is your only choice. The Perspectives podcast is also brought to you by Jaay Tatoo. For clean tattoos like these, book your appointments today. Welcome back to Perspectives Media. We're there again, and tonight we have we're going to introduce her. Okay, so we have a possibly controversial guest tonight. Maybe not, you know. But people, before we get into the episode, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, because Perspectives Media will always bring the quality content. As you can see how the year start, how it's going. Alright, so remember to like, share, and subscribe. Isn't it? We're going up. So, as I say, we have a kind of controversial guest tonight. Maybe our message is controversial, but I feel like our intentions are pure. So, introduce yourself to the Perspectives family.
Perspectives fans, my name is Grace Richardson, and I am the licensing agent in St. Kitts and Nevis for the Eastern Caribbean Collective Organization for Music Rights, known as ECCO.
So why you have the paper there?
Because this paper says relevant sections of the St. Kitts and Nevis Copyright Act 2000. And this act was put into effect in 2002. So the basis of what we do for ECCO is based on the Copyright Act. Yes, we don't operate like lawless. The Copyright Act tells us basically what we're supposed to do in terms of protecting the rights of creators. And it not only deals with creators, it also deals with people like who are performers, people who own recording rights, you know. And so it's a very good thing that people should go and look at. It's actually on the police site, police.kn, on the information section. It's right there for you to read.
Right. Okay. So I feel like we're kind of gone far ahead. So let's take it back a bit.
Okay.
What is ECCO?
So ECCO represents the rights of songwriters and music publishers. So what they do is they sign up with us, and because musical events and people who use music in public, they're supposed to license. That license money that they pay to us is actually what is turned into royalties for the persons who have signed up with us. No, we don't only represent our members. We have agreements with all other societies around the world, like ECCO, like BMI and ASCAP, PRS in the UK, SOCAN in Canada, organizations like ours, and we collect on their behalf as well too.
Right. So it's not just who are registered with your local.
No.
Okay.
Worldwide collection.
Okay,
yeah.
And how did ECCO get to St. Kitts Nevis?
Okay, so now let us go way back, because even before ECCO, PRS, the organization from the UK, was active in our region. And that is because before we became independent, we followed the British laws, the UK laws, and what was in effect for us was the Copyright Act of the UK. And so the Copyright Act of the UK in 1956, it was in operation for us. And then so the PRS agents like me used to go around the region and they used to do the collections. Now, there was a society formed in St. Lucia called the Heronora Music Society, which was guided by PRS until it became ECCO. And so we have ECCO now doing the territory that PRS used to do in the Eastern Caribbean. Yes.
Okay.
And so we had to replace the UK Copyright Act when we became independent. So that is why we have our Copyright Act that was passed in 2000 and came into effect in 2002. Right.
So since 2002 now, ECCO came about? So
ECCO was around before that, but in terms of St. Kitts and Nevis, we basically had a much stronger presence since 2016.
Because it's around that time I would have begun to hear about ECCO. Right. And ECCO became prevalent.
So I became the agent in 2016.
Okay. And why is it that it became more prevalent that these people are collecting on behalf of creators in 2016 versus back then?
Because remember, we didn't have the presence on the ground. So what would have happened before that time is that what you were protected by is the Copyright Act itself. Now, you don't have to be a member of ECCO to get your royalties, you know. You can, as an individual protected by the Copyright Act, make your own negotiations with music users. But can you imagine? Suppose a music user had to make negotiations with every single person who was a songwriter or a publisher. That's all they'll be doing all day long. So what our organization does is that it offers you a better solution to the problem, because when you come to us, we already have a group of songwriters and publishers that we're representing, and we already have certain tariffs to tell you that you pay this for a year or this for an event. It's in place already. It makes it much easier to make the arrangement than going to each single person to make the agreement.
Right. So other than that now, what are some of the other benefits for the creator itself for signing up with ECCO?
Okay, so now you have to look at the performing side, and you also have to look at the recording side. So as a person who is a songwriter, you have a way to register your material. So when you create a song, it's automatically copyrighted. But when you register it, it's even more protection, because when you register it, you're going to get a date at which and a document that says, okay, Harry created this song on 25th of November 2020, and we have it stored. And you also send us an MP3 copy. So if somebody comes and said, that's my song, well, you have some proof.
But someone like me now would look on that and say, me can do that myself.
You can do that yourself, but remember, you're dealing with international. You want to make sure that your song is international, and when you're talking about protection, and when you want to go to court to prove that you're the one, that is even greater proof than you saying that you did that. Yes, okay. There's an organization, a recognized organization that has your material stored, and that can produce a document called a notification of work form that was submitted along with your MP3 to prove that at that point in time you were the one who said you were the creator. Okay, fair enough. So what if me come to you now with a song that, say for example, I do a remix of a big song from back in the day, and I bring it to ECCO. Now, I didn't get the permission from the original creators of this song. I just bring it to ECCO. These are my original material. We don't take it. Everything is vetted before it's put in the system. So on the actual form, the notification of works form itself, there is a section to tick if you have used a sample, and then it says provide the example of provide the information that shows you got clearance.
So what if I didn't me not go providing no clearance? Me not providing no clearance. Me just tell you this is my song, and
it doesn't work like that.
No, but how does ECCO verify that this song is mine?
Remember that we have other sister organizations around the world that have their databases, and we also have links to like the Harry Fox agency and other agencies that represent the rights of publishers. So you're talking about a lot of databases that you can run these things through to go and back check. It's a very, very important thing, because you can get into problems. We can get into problems if we allow a registration for something that we know that there'll be a problem with. So these things I've checked thoroughly.
Right. Okay, so you speak to eco-benefiting creators.
Right.
What about a promoter now?
Now you are
How does
looking.
it benefit a promoter?
Well, the long and short of it is that it's cutting down on the number of people you have to negotiate with. Remember, I told you at the beginning, all of these people you have to clear the rights with all of these people. Suppose I have, let me give you an example. Let's take Sean Paul. Suppose I want to book Sean Paul and Sean Paul alone for a show. And Sean Paul comes to St. Kitts and Nevis for a show. And Sean Paul does 24 songs. And when you look at the breakdown of the writers and the publishers of those 24 songs, for example, we did a breakdown for one of the songs that he did for Music Festival. There were about 9 songwriters and about 6 music publishers credited on the creation side. Who wants to go and sit down to make individual negotiations with all of those people?
Yeah, but you find that in St. Kitts Nevis now, majority of promoters are not faced with that issue. Them not negotiate with nobody. So you're putting it on an international scale. St. Kitts Nevis, I'm talking about St. Kitts Nevis locally. The small promoter.
There is no distinction between small promoter and there's no distinction between local and international, right? Remember, I said that the basis of all of this is the Copyright Act. So it is not ECCO's law. It is the law of the land. So let me give you an example. So Section 9 of the Copyright Act says, by virtue and subject to the provisions of this act, the owner of the copyright in a work shall have the exclusive right to do or authorize other persons to do any of the following acts in St. Christopher and Nevis: to copy the work, to issue copies of the work in the public, to perform the work in public, or in the case of a sound recording, film, broadcast, or cable, to play or show the work in public. And it goes on. So
Yeah,
you're talking about, so therefore, if you are supposed to negotiate with each of these persons.
No, but what I'm saying, right? And I want you to internalize
Right.
what I'm saying. A small promoter, on average, is not negotiating with anybody other than the police where they go to get the right to put on them event, and the DJs and whatever performers they're going to negotiate
So
with.
I'm telling you, according to the Copyright Act, if they don't, they are breaking the law.
Yeah, but that law is not enforced.
That law is definitely can be enforced.
You hear the word I use?
Yes.
It can be.
Because
but in 95% of the cases, it is not being enforced.
Now, do you know who is supposed to enforce the law?
No, I want you to educate
So
me on that.
the persons who are supposed to start the initial conversation would be when somebody says, "Oh, my song is being played by XYZ and they didn't pay a license. Can you go and deal with that for me?" So it has to come from the individual themselves.
Okay.
Right.
So now, here the question. No. Why is it a promoter's responsibility to pay that and not the entertainers? So the DJ who is a promoter would hire a DJ
Right.
to play.
Right.
Why is it not the DJ's responsibility to pay what ECCO is saying?
Because you are looking at the person who is called the promoter. They're the one who initiated the action. So they're hiring the DJ. So it is the right of the promoter to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. It is their responsibility.
Yeah, but me as a promoter, me hire a DJ to entertain. I didn't give him specific instruction as to what to play.
I know, but he has to play something because you are hiring him for an event that will have music, and those rights must be cleared with the exclusive owners of the music, which is the copyright owners, the persons who wrote the music, or the representatives from music publishers. That is the root of everything. You must. And the Copyright Act goes on to say that if you are the cause, Section 46, if you are the cause of music material being played in public without a license, you're committing an offense.
Yeah, but I am just the promoter. I don't control what a DJ play.
So don't hire a DJ then, to sell food.
that kind of seem unfair to me. Yeah, that seemed very much unfair to me. Why isn't the responsibility on the actual person that's clicking play on these?
Because
music?
you hired that person to press click and play.
Yeah, but why doesn't the DJ himself then have some of that responsibility?
In eco territory, the responsibility is only the DJ if the DJ is the promoter of the event.
Okay, so it's basically whoever is organizing.
Exactly right. Because you are making the arrangements to have these things put in place for the event. So therefore, you should know the law and you should follow the law as relates to those things.
Okay.
Right.
Transitioning now. We say where a court case is a big public court case is in progress, and I don't know if you would have watched. Well, the interview at the time of this recording, the interview isn't out as yet. But fans from Canejuice, he made some remarks as to the situation being a situation that's currently in court with ECCO. The question to you is not to elaborate on the specifics of the case, but why did Canejuice promotion got targeted while there are other promoters around?
So we have been asked this question over and over again. That's not a new question, and we are always explaining that there's no targeting going on. So what I always explain is this: in every single forum, when an agent like me on the ground goes to do our work, what we do is over a period of time and repeatedly we contact or try to contact the persons who are doing the infringing and encourage them to come and do something about it. So it's a process. Now, if you had looked at some of the cases online, so like agents for ASCAP and BMI, there was a case where they even contacted some bars like 19, 20 times, or some promoters 19, 20 times, and each time nobody responds, or they give a response and they don't follow through. So it is not targeting anybody. You try and try and try again, but there comes a point in time when the trial finishes. So what I explain and what I've been explaining is that you are at different stages of trying with different entities and individuals. You don't just go after anybody like that. That's not how it works. So you have to remember you are looking at the instance where you have to go and show what you have done to redress the situation. So you have to be able to provide the evidence to show that you have tried a number of times to come to a resolution. So you don't target anybody.
Well, there's the third process out there that an example had to be made. Would you say?
No. I say no, we don't do that. I remember we're not only dealing with St. Kitts and Nevis, we are dealing with the region. So we have similar cases around the region. So it's not something that we just go and do willy-nilly. That's not what we do.
Okay. So are there other cases with other promoters?
There are other cases.
St. Kitts Nevis?
In St. Kitts Nevis, no, not that I know of.
So you're trying to tell me that every other promoter is complying with ECCO?
I am trying to tell you that we are at different stages with different entities. And what has happened of late, because of all the changes that have taken place since last year, August, we have a lot more compliance now.
Okay, so speak to me about some of the changes that have taken place.
So, in September 2022, we were contacted by the Attorney General to come and speak about how we're gonna go forward with ECCO. So based on that conversation, what happened was that there was a press conference in October. At the head table, there was the Attorney General, the Minister of the Creative Economy, our ECCO director for St. Kitts and Nevis, our intellectual property registrar, Ms. Jaay Williams, and also a representative from the Ministry of Entertainment at the head table. And their purpose was to inform the press and the public that there is going to be a change. And the change is that there's going to be more support for what ECCO is doing to make sure that the nation is compliant. Because you have to realize that if you're trying to build a creative economy, you cannot have the creators not benefiting. And that is what is happening all the time. So then after that October press conference, what you had in November 1st and 2nd, in St. Kitts there was a consultation public, and also in Nevis on the 2nd. And they were poorly attended. And then after that point now, because of what the Attorney General had said in September, more of the government entities, he promised that they would start to comply, and that has been happening. And then after the first or second week in December, then we had a lot more compliance when the police had changed those regulations on the site to accommodate for the eco license.
Okay, so
right now we have a lot of persons licensing.
We reached to the point where that declaration was made. The issue that a lot of people have with the declaration is like, it just come out and know it.
Okay, so that would have...
So then, you as a promoter, you already have 10 different bills to pay. And now this eco bill basically mandatory. So you can't get a license to do an event.
But you have to remember that the basis of your event, a lot of it has to do with music, and these music owners in the Copyright Act, they must be compensated. It's their right. So you have to balance it out. So you have to think of you have to readjust how you think. And don't put the music last, but we think of the music as the first step. Clearing the music, the rights to the music has to be the first step if you are going to use music, right? And then the other things come afterwards.
Yeah, but any radical change gonna come with some kind of pushback.
I understand that, and we have been having some pushback, but not as much pushback as I think some people expected, because when we have been speaking to persons, and especially why I have the Copyright Act all the time, when we explain to them the provisions of the Copyright Act and how long the Copyright Act has been in force, then they understand more.
Yeah, but again, to speak about enforced, I don't think before ECCO there was ever a case where somebody basically their court a fight.
Yes, Mention used to do it all the time, individually with his lawyers.
Oh.
Yes, yes.
Okay. But so none as public as this one with Canejuice.
I don't know about how public that is. I can't judge to know how public that is, because basically, remember, I'm only the agent. I'm not the head office and whatever and stuff. So it's a lot of the what word I'm going to use? A lot of the goings on that would have to do with head office and the director and whatever and stuff. I'm just the agent on the ground.
Okay then. So ECCO now in St. Kitts Nevis. If I am looking to do a party and I go get my permit somehow without paying the ECCO license,
which some people have done, yes, or people are doing. Yes.
What's the consequence of that?
So now, what the consequence of that? You have to take into consideration that ECCO is not the only entity that can come and carry to court, right? Because our Copyright Act not only protects St. Kitts and Nevis, but also everybody outside, right? We have specified countries, and those countries, their rights of their citizens are protected as well. Anybody can come and say, I hear my stuff playing, so therefore I want XYZ.
And has that ever happened?
I don't want to say on the camera. It happened to an entity in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Recently?
Maybe in the last 10 years or so. I don't want to say it because of the nature of it. I wouldn't want to say. I could tell you off the podcast, but not on the podcast.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, and also when we're thinking about this as well too, we have to think about trademark. Like there have been entities, I understand, that have come in to protect their trademarks in St. Kitts and Nevis, and who have had to take a little action as well too.
So Echo involved in trademark?
No, ECCO is not involved in trademark, but I'm just saying that as an intellectual property issue, trademarks is also an issue.
Right. So in terms of the level of you speak to promoters complying now, what's the percentage of artists locally that you see
Registering? We have even during COVID time when things were down, we had a lot more sign up of song. I can't say artists because artists are different. They're the performers. I'm talking about the songwriters. We had a lot more sign up of songwriters, especially during the COVID time. And let me tell you why. It is not because of the performing side. Remember, during COVID time, digital works were the mainstay and making the money. So that is what we are looking at now. A lot of persons, because of what happened during COVID, they realize that the recording side is where they can keep their business going. Yes.
You know, a lot of you would see me push back a lot in the interview.
No problem.
Right? But it's to give people a level of clarity as to what ECCO is about.
Exactly.
A lot of times you find that people are doing music and then they don't understand that there is value behind your work in the long term.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And things like ECCO, you can actually reap the rewards of your hard work.
Definitely. But you see, we're having problems with that as well too, because people, somebody came to my yard the other day and tell me, Grace, your name's Stinker Road. And you know what I said? It really took a long time to get there. But you see, when you're trying to make a change, sometimes you are not popular. And if you think about popularity, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, if you are a person and you're involved in the music business, it is your business to know the business. And you know what we have a lot around here? A lot of songwriters and also artists who are doing stupidness. They are not looking after their business. They don't understand. People putting out stuff on YouTube and whatever, and they don't have the correct metadata. You don't know who write the song. You don't know who the beat producer is. You don't know if they sign up with any organization like ECCO, and then when they can't get any money, they're going to complain. Well, who are we going to pay it to? That's the first thing. Then you have instances where you're a member of an organization like ECCO, but you have not registered your work. Send it in. It's not in the database. So what we're going to do? So I come down hard on everybody. Everybody has to pull up the socks. If we want an international industry in St. Kitts and Nevis, everybody from user to creator, you have to pull up your socks.
Okay, so we see the prevalence of St. Kitts Nevis soca music, right?
Right.
A song like Outside Again, which is doing great regionally.
Right.
Is that song registered through ECCO?
You give me heartache, no. But I have to say it because you asked me the question. The song, right? There are two members of ECCO who are involved in the writing of the song, and we have yet to register the song. The song needs to be registered. It's something that we see it's going to be all over. It's not too late.
It's gonna.
But I cannot complain because guess what? There are other songs for the season.
No, I need to pack up. And I would done the interview. You just tell me say Outside Again, Eric. You say you have two members of ECCO who write on the song.
Yes.
And it not registered?
Not yet, no.
So what is it that is stopping it from being registered?
But what am I going to say? ECCO members know they're supposed to register the material before they put it out. That is something we preach all the time. Remember, before we took a break, I said I'm coming down on artists as well too. And also songwriters because they're not doing their part. But that is it. You have to do your part if you want to benefit. Right? No, not only that, going on from that now, remember when you put out a recording, you have to have certain codes attached to that recording so they can be tracked. one of the most important things is the ISRC code.
Explain
The
to me what that
International
is.
Standard Recording Code. It is assigned to each track, especially when it goes out as an MP3, so that the track can be tracked, basically, right? So when it's out there, it can be picked up and logged. If you don't have an ISRC code, how we gonna pick up your song? So now, what I've been saying to a lot of persons when I speak to them on the recording side, yes, you might send your track to a distributor like TuneCore or one of those. TuneCore, they're going to attach their ISRC code to it and put it out. But I'm telling you that in Senkins and Nevis, because we don't have what you call an ISRC agency, right? We can apply to the IFPI.
And
But the IFPI is the head body for the recording industry, right? We can apply to them through their head office in the UK, and we can apply to get the permission to issue our own ISRC codes. And the beautiful thing about that, two things: it is free. You can get it in 5 days permission, and also it starts with KN, which identifies this stuff as coming from Senkis, whereas TuneCore has TC. So you don't have an idea where that is coming from. So in other parts of the business that we have been dealing with, because I'm not only the ECCO representative, my company is also a music publishing company, a member of ECCO as well. And on that side, and because we also control recordings, we have been able to secure our own ISRC codes for our company, and then guide other people through the process of getting their ISRC codes as well. So we have a number of persons in Senkis and Nevis now who are issuing their ISRC codes starting with KN. And the IFPI had said to us, look, what we want is that you encourage as many persons in the federation to do that, so we can have a presence, the Senkis Nevis presence in this industry. Yeah.
Boy, I still can't believe say a song like that recorded, not registered.
That is not the only song that is not registered. I mean, basically, I can say that because of online activity and because it is so easy to put things online, people tend to just push the things online and worry about the business afterwards, which is not supposed to be. That's a bad thing to do. And in terms of the recordings as well too, I have had to speak to some entities to tell them, look, when a song comes out, you cannot say that song belongs to a band. A song does not belong to a band. A song belongs to the people in the band who wrote the song. They're the ones. If the band does not have an agreement that says anytime Johnny writes a song, we all share as songwriters, then the band does not own a song. So I've had to speak to some people and say, you see all those songs you have done way back, and you say that your band has written the song? Your band did not write the song. You have to go back and make all the agreements to find out who really wrote that song and sign up those agreements, because your band does not own the song. Your band might own the sound recording because somebody in the band might have paid, right? Somebody in charge of the band might have paid for the recording. So you own the master recording, but you do not own the composition of the song. It's not yours.
Boy, still
it is very involved.
Right.
This is a very, very involved business, and the more you understand it, the clearer you will become, and then you realize that, okay, when I'm supporting the rights of these creators, it's a very big deal, because a lot of money is spent on the creation side. Yes, a huge amount of money is spent on the creation side. And remember, we're not even talking about the cost of the equipment to record. Right? So I put up an article I shared on my Facebook the other day talking about it's called the Rihanna effect. Now, Rihanna's recording company or whatever it is, they wanted to have Beyond the Door recording in Barbados. And they contacted a very good studio in Barbados. And because the owner of the studio did not have Pro Tools HD, they said, nope, we're not doing it. You know how much for Pro Tools HD? $50,000. And you know what he did? He made a sacrifice and he went and he got Pro Tools HD. And he was able to record not only Rihanna, but I think he did Coldplay as well and some other.
I watched the interview then.
Yeah, you saw it. Yes.
Somebody sent the interview.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So this business here, it takes a lot of money to really get to a standard where we can say we are world class.
Then now, where would you say the standard of St. Kitts Nevis industry is?
What industry? We don't have an industry yet. We have people who are making music. We don't have an industry yet. We don't have the components to make an industry yet. We're not there.
And what is stopping it from happening?
What is stopping it from happening is the will of the people. And I can't even say that I can blame the people who are in the music itself, but you have to start from the basics where somebody is telling a child, oh, don't do that. That ain't a real job. You're wasting your time. Go find a real job. That is where it starts.
Right. So people, yeah, that's true. Because generally people around here really see music as an
avenue to progress, right? Yes.
Yeah, an artist like Byron Messiah. Is Byron Messiah registered with ECCO?
I am not sure who is registered with. No, I don't know.
So that are basically the biggest artist out of St. Kitts Nevis, and y'all don't have him registered.
I remember that anybody who wants to register can register with any organization similar to ours. We don't only have ECCO members in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have BMI members, we have PRS members, and the other day I actually found a COSCAP member in St. Kitts and Nevis. You can register with anybody you want to. We can't tell them to register.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not just ECCO.
No, it's not just ECCO. But the thing is, because we have agreements with those societies, we help to protect their interests on the ground in St. Kitts and Nevis. So I will get conversations from ECCO members, from PRS members, from BMI that come and talk to me about certain matters.
So speak to me about the payment now.
Yeah.
When you get a payment from ECCO, how does that payment trickle down to the creator?
So what happens is that you have to have the persons who put on the events and the persons who play music, right? Okay, have to provide us with what is being played, right? No,
but let me
because I just came from 5 Trees a while ago, and I was speaking to gentlemen over there, and they assured me that software like Virtual DJ stores everything from way back when, and it's easy to just give me the information.
But how
what? And then now, if you have a live performance on stage, what ECCO members are supposed to do, there's something called a performance log. They have to get that log filled out.
So all of the extra work that you as a promoter have as your responsibility?
So the person who performed has to get to the performance log, write down what they performed, they sign it, the promoter signs it.
You hear all of that? You hear all of that now? All of that just sounds so complicated like you have to go write down.
It's not the promoter writing down anything. The DJ provides the playlist, the artist provides the performance log. All the promoter is doing is ensuring that they do it, and you just sign it. That's what the promoter is doing. Just signing it. A signature is needed. And remember,
that's a lot of work still in it.
But guess what? Who are you helping? You're helping Byron Messiah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
I understand all of that, you know.
Yes.
But you have to look at it from a promoter's perspective. And from a performer's perspective.
Yes.
And from a DJ's perspective,
Yes.
that's something extra them have to do what they don't necessarily had to do before.
And they don't want to help the local industry grow. That's what you're trying to say? That is a component of it. They don't want to help the industry to grow. What are you telling me?
Me not tell you that. Me not tell you that.
What are you telling me then? I want to know.
Me tell you it's something extra that just seem like a whole lot of work.
When Mr. Creator stay up 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning in the studio, going over and taking them tracks and whatever, and writing them lyrics and whatever and stuff, that's not extra work too?
Yeah, but I'm sure out there in the world, there is a more simplified way of doing it.
Like what?
Like that signing a paper, not having a performance log, like some automated systems.
You have to have a log, and if the only way you can have some kind of automated system is if you can tell 100% beforehand that this is going to be played. And you can't do that because on a night, you might never know what can happen. Like for example, when I went to monitor in the carnival season, when I went to monitor the Calypso eliminations, even though I got a list and said, okay, these are the songs that are going to be performed and these are the performers. Well, on the night, 1 or 2 people weren't there. So you have to have something from there to reflect more accurately what happened. Suppose I just gave that piece of paper and said, yeah, they said this was going to happen, so here. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. For radio stations, it's easier to monitor radio stations because you can have a software called BMAT in radio stations, and that captures every living thing that happens on the radio station. It's easier to do that. In certain instances, yes, it works. But go ahead.
So what if I was to play a song for my podcast now?
Yes.
Echo gonna come knock for me do.
So what happens to podcasts is that there is an actual online form that for a license that takes care of podcasts. Yeah, so it all depends on what you play. Some people, they get music that is not in copyright, right? It's royalty-free music and they use that instead, right? That can work for a podcast.
That's what we do.
Yeah, there we go. So you don't have to pay anything. And remember, there are certain music libraries around the world that give you the right to use their thing for free, and they clear the rights and say, all right, you can use them. Right? You can play, you can use it for your podcast, and we waive the right to the royalties and whatever and stuff.
Okay, so so continuing on for a podcast,
right?
For a podcast like me, how would Echo benefit me, if any at all?
You're being protected. Your podcast is going online, right?
Definitely.
When you look like you a boof, a strike, and you take your stuff. A copyright strike and they take your stuff offline.
Take my stuff offline, how?
So they're monitoring your stuff and they make a report and say, this man here, hey, we using our stuff and we didn't give him the permission.
But this is my original stuff. I have proof that this is my original stuff.
So you wrote it 100%? You played all the instruments, you did all the beat.
No.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not doing music on this, I'm talking about my conversations.
No. The conversations are fine. We only deal with the audio, the music part.
Only music. So Echo is strictly for
music, right?
Right.
No, let me give you a sneak peek. Because ECCO is not the only collective management organization in operation in the Eastern Caribbean. There's also ECCLA. ECCLA deals with like book publishing and the rights to reproduce copies of works, right? And ECCLA is coming back on stream just now, eh? So let me put that out there.
Well, you see, the conversation is a very informative conversation. Are there anything else you'd like to inform the public about?
Okay, so what I want to tell the public is that we are moving in the right direction. Because remember, in this industry, there are a lot of World Intellectual Property Organization laws that we have to put in force. And we are moving towards that. And we're not only going to be protecting the people in the music industry, but all the performers and the videographers, everybody. that puts content online, we're moving in a direction where your online content will be more protected because of the way in which we are gonna proceed in the near future. We are actually becoming more compliant, and this is not a St. Kitts Nevis initiative alone. It's a whole Eastern Caribbean initiative. All of the territories are updating their copyright acts and stuff to get in gear to deal with our 21st century. So we are moving definitely in the right direction.
Right. And what would you say to promoters or event organizers, who are still not compliant with ECCO?
Well, you have to think of whether you want to in the future pay $30,000 per per infringement, because I can't tell you that BMI can walk in here and come for you. Even though they might have an agreement with us, they might just decide, okay, or a BMI member might come inside and say, no, they're playing my thing. It is much cheaper, right, to comply with a blanket license than to have to face the possibility of a huge infringement cost where you can't even do anything again in life because it's so huge you can't recover. That has happened to entities in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a case where a bar had to pay just for 3 songs, and it was $30,000 per song, and they had to pay, and after that they couldn't open again.
So them kind of money the ECCO call for?
I never said that.
Jesus,
but all I'm trying to tell you is that all the Copyright Act says, if you infringe copyright, right? Okay, let me try to find the section for you, because I like to read these things, right? I'm gonna read this here for you, right? It says, I don't want to keep us much longer, but I have to read it because you have to understand that there are laws on our land that they're very serious. It says, I'm just gonna read the penalties. So for one of the infringements, you can have a conviction, a summary conviction, and you're gonna have to pay a fine of something not exceeding $50,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or both. So in other words, you pay the fine and you get jail time, or you pay a fine or you get jail time. I don't want to go into specifics, but if you go on the police website and you look at the section 46, it shows you, right? So and this is for persons who cause infringement. You can get fined or jail time. I hear that some there up to $50,000. Good. And then yes, and then
what you say?
And then there's another section further down with that for on conviction and or indictment to a fine not exceeding $100,000 or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or both. I just read those parts, but people can go on the police site and go look at the Copyright Act and then see what comes before that. Right? It will be very informative. So,
right,
and these are the things that probably should have been made known to the public a long time ago. It would have helped the industry.
And I feel like ECCO need to do more public info, like give more information to the public more regularly, because the fact that everything just seemed to be just coming in.
Okay.
At one point.
So let me give you a little insight onto that, because I had that question yesterday and a comment yesterday. No, in 2021, in December, right? On November, December, we were having conversations with the then Ministry of Entertainment, and we arranged to have 5 different workshops to take place in 2022. We planned them out, we did the budgeting and everything like that. They were supposed to take care of 2022. Your guess and mine as to what happened after that.
Nobody sure.
One came off and then that was it.
And why you think that happened?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't have anything else to say. They were supposed to come off. The second one would have been a very important one. The second one was based on all the different types of licenses that there are in the music industry, and we had secured a very, very good and knowledgeable person to come and present on that. So I am not taking the blame. We have been trying over and over again to get things done, but we can't do it on our own. We have to have the platform to do it.
Well, so is there anything else you'd like to say to the people of St. Kitts Nevis?
That we need to show the whole region that we can be number one. We can be number one. Our music, the quality of our music in terms of the musical arrangement, we are so unique, we are so different, people notice it. What we need to do is to garner our strength and make sure that the business behind it is just as strong.
Right. So with that, people, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Perspectives Media with the amazing content. So until next time, peace.
Hoy, and I said nobody now believe it. Well, if they me say I beat it, me and the pastor, me not go preach it to how we all it down. Yeah, man, it's Dejour, and I mean giving you a different perspective on Perspectives Media. Easy.
Perspectives Media.